Hi, my name is Kurt Lamming. I am the pastor at St Paul Lutheran Church on Dogleg Road in Dayton, Ohio. And I'd like to take a moment today to think with you about the question, what are the fruits of the Spirit and how can I live them? Well, maybe at first you've never heard of that phrase, fruits of the Spirit, before. Maybe it just sounds like some churchy jargon phrase that doesn't really mean anything to you. Or maybe you've heard the phrase and you think, yeah, I know that's somewhere in the Bible, but I'm not exactly sure where or what it says. Well, let's start there. The phrase fruits of the Spirit comes from the book of Galatians, chapter 5, verses 22 and 23. So let me read that section for you. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. There is no law against such things. In the larger section of this book, Paul is writing about the things of the flesh and the things of the Spirit, right? The things of the flesh are all of these bad things that we're not supposed to do, which he mentions a few verses before. Now, the works of the flesh are obvious: fornication, impurity, licentiousness, idolatry, sorcery, enmity, strife, jealousy, anger, quarrels, dissensions, factions, envy, drunkenness, carousing, and things like these, and so on and so on and so on, right? You get the point. All of these nasty things that we're not supposed to do, those are the works of the flesh. But then Paul reminds us what are the works of the Spirit, or the fruits of the Spirit. And it's these wonderful things like joy, love, peace, patience, kindness, all of these things. And that sounds great, right? It would be wonderful if we could have these things all the time. The thing that Paul is reminding us here is that we can. Rather than listening to our sinful nature that wants to do all these nasty things and be selfish, we can listen to the Spirit. This is just the ongoing struggle that all of us face as Christians. This, do I listen to my sinful self or do I listen to God? Sometimes, though, we don't feel like doing these things, right? We don't feel loving or joyful or generous. We don't have self-control. Sometimes we don't feel these fruits of the Spirit. First of all, I want to say that's okay. You don't have to feel these things all the time. But the fact that you don't feel them doesn't mean that you can't do them. You can still do something even if you don't feel like it. That's where it comes in to listen to God's Spirit and not our sinful selves. For example, have you ever been in a conversation with someone, but then you found yourself biting your tongue, right? You've held back something that you thought of saying, but you decided against it. Even if you wanted to say that thing, even if you felt like saying that thing, you didn't. Well, in that moment, you practiced a fruit of the Spirit, self-control. Or think about when you are in a situation with someone and they're getting on your nerves and you could lash out at them, but you decide not to. You decide to care for them. You decide to listen to them. There, you're showing a fruit of the Spirit. You're showing them love. Or in another case, maybe you have this opportunity to help somebody. And part of you says, oh, no, I don't want to do that. Your sinful side, your selfish side says, I don't want to help them. But then you listen to the Spirit and you help them. That's the fruit generosity. Do you see how this works? This isn't necessarily about how you feel. You can choose to produce these fruits of the Spirit, even if you don't feel like it. You can choose to listen to God's Spirit and not your sinful self. This is an ongoing struggle. This isn't going to be easy. It's not easy for any of us. But when we listen to God's Spirit, then these fruits happen. These fruits like love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, self-control, all of these things, when we listen to God's Spirit, then these things happen in our lives because we choose to let them happen. So please leave a comment and let me know what you think of these fruits of the Spirit. And let me know if you've had a situation where you've been able to share one of these fruits with someone else. Thanks for watching.